large explosions, because we do. The Mulehorn Gaming Podcast. We blew it up.
Got him. I hit him. Down. Oh, I got him. What's up, everybody? We're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff tonight. It's going to be basically, we're going to be in space this whole podcast.
The entire time.
The entire
Space
time.
Wars.
Space
Field.
Wars things and pew-pew. Yeah. So we're going to have a fun podcast tonight. We're going to talk Ahsoka, of course. So there will be spoilers for anybody that's watching or listening. If you haven't watched all of them, pause, go about halfway on the podcast, and then listen to us talk about Starfield. But if you guys ever want to know when we're going live with this, because it's kind of a fireside chat, join our Discord. It's going to be a link in the description and the podcast notes, all that stuff. You guys join in. We're doing lots of fun stuff like watch parties for Ahsoka. We're planning on doing sports watch parties and other fun stuff. Maybe even like I don't know, Prime and Mule Theater or something where we watch movies and make fun of it. I don't know.
When you say oh yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you know, like that. What was that show? Like where it had the shadows or whatever.
Science theater. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
That was the classics.
Yeah, some fun ones, man. So lots of fun stuff there, guys. And because, you know, our podcast is not always regular because we're, you know, life. You can at least get notified when we're going to have our next podcast and watch it live and come in and have some cool questions. So
This podcast needs more prune juice.
it does. Prime time. How you doing, man?
This week I've been tired every day, and I don't know why.
I have no idea.
Actually, I didn't know why. Dude, I'm still recovering from last weekend. The kids were at their mom's the weekend. It worked out perfectly for the holiday.
Yeah.
I stayed up way too late 2 days in a row. Never recouped very well. Dude, it's been like I am not a young, spry person anymore.
Gay. Can't do those 3 o'clock nights and wake up at 7.
No. And I played Starfield one time this week, and it was last night. And guess what happened? I tapped my phone. I'm like, good, 2 o'clock in the morning. Come on. So this morning was rough. So basically, I've been recuperating, having some fun time with my kids, and working.
Right on, man. Any special beverages of the night?
Tonight, just a little bit of sparkling ice plus caffeine.
Nice.
It's a new tropical punch flavor, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
We're going to talk about this here in a little bit, Servant, what you put right there. Yeah. We're going to talk about that. Very nice. Well, the only thing I can say that I have is basically, Servant will like this. I do have a mug, but it's not coffee. That's Dr. Pepper. So
Dr. Pepper in a mug.
Yes. Because that's how I roll. I collect mugs, okay? Like, that's our thing. Like, I collect a bunch of mugs, and then, like, I'm not going to use a regular glass because I have 50 mugs. So, you know, Dr. Pepper in a mug, man. It's just, and look, it says, actually, I can put Dr. Pepper in a mug. Yeah. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. So, man, everybody in the chat is already talking about Starfield and Sea of Stars. We're going to get to all of that. We have to jump in with some Ahsoka first because, woo, bro. All right,
what
casual
freaking episode? Yeah,
you're a casual Star Wars fan. So give me your perspective on what you've thought of Ahsoka so far.
It's been some of the best Star Wars that I've seen in a long time. Blown away, even the Mandalorian so far. And I'm through this journey, I've been able to recognize the difference between post Lucas and Filoni. And there's a dramatic difference. And I love current Filoni stuff. It's so good. I mean, storytelling, pacing, dialogue. It's like, this is how it should be. And it's been great, dude. I mean, for this casual Star Wars fan who learns more from you guys geeking out, I have really enjoyed it. Each time we have a watch party, me and my daughter go back and watch it together afterwards so she can watch it live with Dad. And
Yeah.
It's just like I'm like learning new stuff. I seen it again, then telling her about it because Dad just learned something. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, it's that I will say what's made this really fun is the watch parties we're doing at Discord because like
Yep.
Ordinary Citizen or Extraordinary now as he
Extraordinary now.
like he's been really fun, and a bunch of the other guys that joined the Discord to mostly just talk Star Wars, but man, it's been fun. There has been some really cool Easter eggs that I missed in Ahsoka, but my thoughts as a whole for this whole series so far, what are we like 5 episodes in? 4? Something like that? 4? 5?
4.
4.
5 next week.
It feels like OG Star Wars storytelling. Like it I don't know. Like the last time we had a really good Star Wars was the prequels, and then Mando is really good, and then this one just feels like original trilogy Star Wars plus the sequels together. It's just so stinking good, man.
It's good.
It's
I mean, it's like, yeah, because Filoni is pretty much the Padawan of George, and you take what he's learned from George and what he's done in his own work, and I think the culmination of all that came out in Ahsoka. It's good.
Yeah.
So dang good.
It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
And I have to show everyone this because, like I said, guys, there are spoilers, but I didn't catch this the first time I watched it, and then Extraordinary Citizen threw it in our Discord, and then I saw it today on TikTok, and I'm going to show you guys real quick. This thing that I completely missed was when they were in the ship. You see that? Do you see? Look, there's a picture. That's Kanan. That's Kanan, yep. Dude. Like,
yep.
Dude. And then after I saw that, I was like, almost in tears that Hera still had that, like, sitting there.
They brought him into the live action, in some form.
Yeah. It was just, man, there's so many moments too. Like, the thing that I really loved the most about it was how intentional the scenes are. Like, one of the things that I've complained about with the new Star Wars, I would say sequels, not Mando, is to allow us as fans to have our own emotions, feelings, and thoughts in a scene rather than telling us what to think or feel or see, right? Like it's the old classic mantra, show, don't tell. And so you kind of have to do that in Mando because you can't see a face. It's a helmet. But like, that's one of the things that I've absolutely loved because I'm a sucker for old like Kung Fu and samurai films. And the way that they're doing this is like the music and everything. I feel like I'm watching Ghost of Ahsoka, instead of Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, it's so freaking good. It hits on all the levels of like martial combat, like that sci-fi itch in space with the battles in space. It feels like Star Wars, like the sword fighting, the choreography, and Balin's fight. Like, bro, he's a hoss, man.
He is a hoss. I mean, one thing that I noticed about that fight scene I love the most, and some people were like, it felt kind of weird. They were sizing each other every single time from the beginning. They attacked a few times, and they readjusted their stances. I saw Ahsoka. She went in one stance. Balin countered it, and she's like, "Oh no, just kidding."
Yeah.
She changed her stance again. I'm like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the subtle moves that if you know the content well enough, you're like, that's amazing.
Yeah, very similar to the Darth Maul Obi-Wan fight in Rebels, right? Like very, very similar to where like Obi-Wan does one stance, Maul does another stance, and then he switches, and like it's like the one thing I will notice is like I started thinking about this. Balin says, "You're just like your master. You only know one way, which is Force," because she is the aggressor rather than like a Jedi where she's not as aggressive. But at the same time,
that's very true.
She had to get the map, like.
Yeah.
She had to get it. So she had to. So she was more aggressive than usual, but that's kind of her style too, right? Because she is Anakin's Padawan. But
well, do you think that if the goal of getting the map wasn't there, you think she would have defeated Balin?
I think she would have been more passive because when she confronts Maul in the last season of Clone Wars, she's not the aggressor. She's there to go and defend the Mandalorians, right, in their homeworld. Right. And so, like, when they're fighting, she's even like comes to like, okay, I'll help you. Like, she's not like Anakin would be, which is just I'm going to just steamroll you and get what I want, you know.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting. Is that I feel like having Sabine as her Padawan has kind of almost unbalanced her as well because she's got so much past trauma. She's trying to deal with like, I failed Anakin. Now am I failing at this as a master for this Padawan? Like, you know, Luke is the future of the Jedi. Like, I'm not the future of the Jedi. And then she's kind of like, well, maybe I can. And
she's the future of the untraditional Jedi.
Yes, that's what I love too. But like,
great Jedi.
No. Oh my gosh.
You knew it was coming.
Where's my like mute button? Sorry. Yeah. But like it's just very interesting too because like Sabine, like in the start, you see a clone trooper helmet. So I'm thinking we might get Rex at some point, right? So you see a clone trooper helmet and like the little intro, and you see Sabine's Mando helmet, but it flashes red instead of blue. And what did Sabine do? She freaking her attachment with Ezra led her to not do such a great decision. And then you think Ahsoka's dead. Do you think she died?
I don't think she died. I thought she did it first until I saw the very last scene. It's like, oh, she didn't die. She got pulled somewhere.
Yeah. And then that scene with Anakin, he looks so good on the de-aging as well. Like it didn't look horrible. Yeah. Like it looked pretty good for a TV show. Like
if there's any other show on their budget they usually get, it'd probably be like, yeah, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
But for a Disney budget show, pretty good.
It should. Yeah. But like it's interesting because I have to bring this up because Fake and a lot of others are saying it in chat here. But like about Starkiller and how all these theories about the Inquisitor being Starkiller.
Man, as soon as Mara got sliced and poofed away in the green smoke, I'm like, all those theories gone.
Yep.
And I wanted to tag Star Wars theories so bad on Twitter. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. He was like, I know it's him. I'm like, okay, bro.
Yeah, it's like his latest theory is, and I'm not trying to like crap on the guy, but like his latest theory is that's not Anakin, that's the son. But I'm like, bro, the son's dead. Like he got stabbed in the heart with a lightsaber. So,
but speaking of where she got pulled to, and the son. Let's talk about the end.
Yes. So go to our YouTube. There's a really good theory I put up there, but I'm going to talk about it on the podcast for, because that's what we do on podcasts, talk about things, right? But my theory is I think she's basically like the Mortis gods, right? Because she had the essence, if you remember in Clone Wars, in the Mortis arc, they get this signal, distress signal. It's an ancient Jedi distress signal that's like over 2,000 years old. And they go to it, and Rex is there, and they're like, hey, you're not on our scopes. Where are you? And Anakin's like, we're at the distress signal. He's like, no, you're not. And then suddenly this huge ship comes out of nowhere and like transport them to a different galaxy, a different realm. Yeah. We really don't know. And he goes through these trials and everything and learns that the father is the one keeping balance. They've isolated themselves because they're some of the most powerful force users in the galaxy. He sounds very Bendu-like, where he's neither Sith nor Jedi. He talks about your thoughts of the force are very small compared to what it really is. Freaking grabs the lightsaber, all this fun stuff, man. And basically, we learn that he's the one that keeps balance. His son is the embodiment of the dark side. His daughter's the embodiment of the light side. And Ahsoka dies in this process, right? The son kills her. And the daughter gets mortally wounded by the Mortis dagger, which is the only thing that can basically kill these godlike immortal beings. And her last act is to give her life essence to Ahsoka to bring her back. They use Anakin as a conduit since he's the chosen one to like have the Force go through him into her. So it made me really wonder, like, is Ahsoka, like, we've seen her like die like 3 times, right? Or almost die.
Yeah. This is her 3rd time.
Like, is she immortal? And is this what Balin's after? Is he after the Mortis gods and the dagger because it controls Force users? So
I'm not sure if she's like full-on fledged Mortis god, but she is definitely imbued with from them that is still remnant in her, and it has made her basically at a whole new level.
Yeah.
Which brings me to Anakin. I mean, we saw Anakin in that place, which is the world between worlds. And I saw a video today, basically, whenever what you just talked about, how the father was teaching Anakin, preparing him to really be the chosen one, to be, to bring a balance to the universe, to be basically take his place. And so I'm thinking, okay, it is Anakin, but it's not the old Anakin. It's the fully restored, in a new position. I'm the new, basically guardian of this realm type person. And Ahsoka is tied to him because of the act they had the first time they met the Mortis gods. And I'm like, Anakin's like, he is the son, came down in human form.
I mean,
he knows it all. And it's like, there's a lot of parallels here.
Yeah. A lot of religious undertones here.
Yes.
And I absolutely love this because I feel like Filoni is redeeming Anakin because you have the sequels and you have the whole thing that happened there. And people were just like, a lot of fans were like, this just ruins Anakin because like his sacrifice and being the chosen one. And I feel like Filoni's just redeeming all of that. And it makes total sense too, because like if he goes off into this different universe in a different galaxy, like that no one's able to track or go to, that no one even knows about because it's mythical and like the only people that ever got there were the Purgil, the space wells. It makes sense for him to be able to completely tell a whole new Star Wars story, eventually bring us back to the galaxy we know and be like, yo, New Jedi Order and Mandos, y'all need to team up and we're going to have to take on Thrawn. Like, I feel like that's where we're going, right, with Star Wars. And all this stuff before that is going to be amazing because it's going to be in this different galaxy. You're going to see Ahsoka, you're going to see Ezra, you're going to see Sabine. It's just, like, I cannot wait to see all of that, man. And
the video I watched today mentioned not only are the portal windows in the world between worlds able to see various times in space and time, but the technology from the first Force users had insta portals as well. And the theory is those still exist out there. Tied in with what you said, could lead to somehow those being activated to bring in the Mandos, bring in the other Jedi, kind of like a Avengers Endgame type thing. On your left, portals opening up. Boom, here come all these good factions to fight the Thrawn Force.
Well, what makes this even better is, what if Luke is already there? What if the real Luke is already there and the Luke we see in the sequels is a clone? Because a lot of the stuff that they're building up in Bad Batch, with the new cloning facility, with the stuff they did in the sequels, and how you actually see in the comics, Luke's hand was used to help clone Snoke and help clone Palpatine. And there's a big theory because in the old lore, there's the Luke with 2 U's that's a clone of Luke Skywalker. And so it's like, maybe that was that Luke, and he stayed there because they knew what they could do with his DNA. And he's like, I have to, like, this could go horribly bad for the galaxy, so I have to, like, seclude myself. I don't know. It's just a theory.
he was all about seclusion. So, I mean, I see where you're going with that. That's extra wild, though.
It's very wild. Like, it's not very probable, but it would be amazing because, like, I think a lot of fans are really wanting peak Luke Skywalker action. Like, he doesn't need to be the main attraction, right? Like,
Right.
let Ahsoka, let Ezra, all of them be the main attraction, but like, kind of like how Luke did for Mando in what was it, season 2? Like, that would be like
came in to save the day.
Just
Rex so much, kicked so much butt. It's like, hey,
like with these, he's just like,
and he's like, okay, not about me, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
that would be so good.
I think a lot of people are thinking like because there's people to like Fake says, can we just delete the sequels from existence? There's people on both sides, right? There's people that absolutely love the sequels. And there's people like me that were kind of like, meh, but it's Star Wars. And there's people that absolutely hate them. Now, if we could somehow like go to a different universe and that's the focus rather than the sequels and what comes after that, I'm fine if that's Star Wars now. Like, I would be fine with that. I don't have to go back to Tatooine, you know? Those people are psychopaths, by the way. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes with the Anakin and Ahsoka and the world between worlds. And I'm pumped, man.
Hello, Snips.
Oh, dude, that was so good. That was so good.
And here she goes, Master. But then as soon as she saw him, Anakin.
Yeah. It's like in her face of like shock, but also happiness to see like, this is the Anakin from the Clone Wars that I knew, the Jedi Knight, not Jedi Master. Yeah. But
speaking of star stuff.
Stars?
Yes. And the
fields. Are we talking about the fields of stars?
The fields of stars, not the sea of stars.
All right, I want to hear it. Prime.
I'm going to break it down pretty simple. Go ahead, ask your question.
No, I just wanted to say, what has it hit every single thing you've ever wanted in a video game?
Not everything, but a lot. I was thinking about, you mentioned about camps, about talking about the sequels. There's 3 camps I've seen from interaction with our community and online and YouTube, and me unfortunately going down many rabbit holes of like where to find things. There's the Bethesda fans that are freaking over the moon with this. There is the regular, I like RPGs or I like action games. I'm not so much a huge Bethesda fan. I like Skyrim on some level. This is a bit much. I'm kind of lost, but I'm having fun. And there's those who can't get the game and hate everything. And there's also, I guess, those that just are already deleting it because it doesn't hold. This game doesn't really hold your hand that much. It doesn't give you much direction.
But
yeah, I will say though, one thing it does do over Fallout and over Skyrim is it does give you a good mission loop, which is something I noticed you didn't do. I went in when I was in New Atlantis and Mars, the 2 biggest places you come across in the beginning. You meet a lot of people you can talk to if you actually go and talk to them. And if you don't like, say, give me the goods, I don't want to talk to you, don't give me a mission, like Mule did on the screen. You get a list of all these missions to do, and if you start doing them, it always brings you back to where you need to go. And it's a constant loop of and every interaction is fun. There's a story, there's NPCs, there's tons of loot, and it keeps you coming back for more every single time. That's just the basic stuff. I have a whole list of stuff that I might not ever do.
Yeah.
But for great character interactions, conversations, dialogues, just like with Dragon Age and Mass Effect, check. Pretty decent gunplay that I'm actually fairly impressed with, check. It's not COD level by any means, but it's better than Mass Effect, and it's good as say, I don't know, some of the campaign shooters I've been playing. And space stuff and the level of things to do, I have a hard time getting off. And when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. And I haven't done that in a long time. For an open world RPG, Now, for the single player campaign games, those usually always get me sucked in. This is doing both, and I don't know how to handle it, but play it.
Yeah, I would say this is a game built for you, Prime. Like it's going to hit everything you want. Like
it has so
the
far.
loot is everywhere.
Oh
like
God.
There's literally so many people to talk to. There's like loot everywhere. Like it's just wow. I would have to say I'm probably the guy that you said in the middle, where I really enjoy RPGs. I'm not the biggest Bethesda fan. I did really like Skyrim, but I was just talking in DMs before the podcast to a servant about, like, for me, this basically feels like Skyrim in space is what it feels like, because it's very, very similar. It's super open world. Like, it's not linear at all, unless you want it to be, which you can do the same thing in Skyrim. Like, I'm just going to follow the main campaign and just do that and then be done. Right. Mm-hmm. But like, if you do that, you miss out on so many cool things, like going into dungeons, finding epic like gear, like funny dialogues, like the whole thing that we tweeted about with the guy that was wanting to extend my ship's warranty, like, we're trying to reach you and extend your ship's warranty. Like,
the random encounters are insane.
Yeah.
I came across a party cruise. Like, a ship jumps in. I'm like, oh, great. Here is a pirate or bounty hunter about to set me up. He wants to jump me on his ship. So I join the ship, and it's actually a party cruise going on. I'm like, holy crap.
Dude, I got to.
I'm not getting jumped and killed.
Hold on. I got to pull up your tweet on that and show everyone watching the stream, because that was hilarious, man. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Prime is a tweeting machine, so it might take me a second here. Okay, here we go.
I have a few up there today. The audio's pretty good too.
Look at this. I'm going to turn this up for you guys to hear it.
Welcome aboard the party cruise. Take a load off and load off.
Are we going 0 G?
Good question. Why don't we let the newcomer decide?
That's a nice cowboy hat you got there, Prime. I like that. And
guess what? We did go 0 G, and it was pretty fun.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That is so cool.
You get to talk to one guy, and you get to choose whether you stay G or 0 G, and I went 0 G. I had to go back to it because I had a hard time stealing stuff while I was in 0 G. Like, wait, I can't steal.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. I mean, I've been following the Starfield community since before it launched, and dude, there are so many people that either love the entire thing or are focusing on one single area and truly role playing. We got people making some crazy, insane ships.
Yes.
We got people like going full out bounty hunters like you. Like, I just want to blow things up and kill people.
That's literally all I'm doing.
I'm not going to play the game as intended. I'm not going to get any missions and quests, but I'm just going to blow things up. And it offers a lot to multiple camps of people. And I'm even kind of like looking to get into some outpost building because I figured out some stuff. So, I mean, dude, that ship.
That's a pirate ship, dude.
That is a pirate ship.
That is.
You can see the one I tweeted today.
A pirate ship. Oh my gosh.
Somebody made Thomas a train.
Are you serious? Hold on. Let me check your Twitter feed here. Thomas.
I think I replied to it.
Okay.
I replied to it.
Let's see here.
Or it's also in our Discord too.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like,
and the Thomas the Train is a massive ship, dude. It's insane.
Thomas the Train. I can't believe some of the creativity, man. It's like it's just like absolutely ridiculous how good. Oh my gosh, there it is. Hold on, let me see if I can share this. This is ridiculous.
Face response to his person too. Dude, look at it in space and look at it.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous, dude. A Thomas the Tank Engine.
Look how big it is.
That's so ridiculous. Oh my gosh, man, that is hilarious. So
So
yeah,
my
it's
only gripes about the game is the lack of storage between person and ship, and that's mainly a looter problem. And then also it's the UI. The UI is crap, but modders are already out there really fixing all this stuff, and it's like third-party modders. It's not the official ones yet, dude. I mean, the modder. There's already 1,000 mods out there. It's insane.
yeah, it's. I'm actually hoping that they'll bring some like Mass Effect influence into some of the armor because honestly, like, okay, I'm going to be a little negative here, but before we say anything, this is fake ship that's in our Discord. This is his ship, so
It's a beast.
Yeah.
I love it.
it is that beast.
He's
But
a
here's
boss.
here's the thing I'll say. This is from the guy in the middle, right? As far as the RPG, really fun. Open world, Skyrim in space, really, really fun. Like I am really enjoying that aspect of everything, right? Like it's just really, really, really fun when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to like the shooting, it's lacking. It's not very snappy. It's kind of flighty.
Yeah.
It could be better, but it's not horrible. It feels like I said, a lot like Skyrim. Instead of swords, you're using guns, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just could be better. Like that's something they could upgrade in the future, right? They can do a patch for or something like that. Like it's not game breaking. It's not something that'll make you not want to play the game. Now, if you are someone like our friend Servant who really enjoys more like linear playing experiences, you're probably not going to like this game very much because it is there is a lot. There are times when I'm like, I don't know what to do, and it tells you what to do, but there's just so much on the screen that I'm just like, Mulehorn Jenkins.
Well, here's the thing also, if the thing also to think about is if you think about, getting the mindset of what it takes to develop a game and all the assets to make the game like this expansive actually work, you can't have everything completely pristine because then you would never be able to launch the game. It'd be like 500 gigabytes.
Well, I think it's been in development for so long. That's the thing too. Like if you've already built some mechanics or some systems, I mean, much longer would it take you to go back and update some of that?
Right. Would I like the NPCs to be just like those in Cyberpunk 2077 or GTA? Yes. But it's one of those things out of like 30 or 40 that I love.
But
if everything was to be perfect, it would take another year or two and probably another 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And you got to be real. You have to be a little realistic. Can't have everything perfect every time. But for what they wanted to make, what they said they're going to make as a Bethesda game, it has been delivering. Not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I get that.
It is a really fun game, but I feel like for myself, it's definitely going to be like Skyrim, where there's so much to do. It's going to take me like 5 years to finish it.
And that's totally okay. Yeah. I was that way with Skyrim. I never actually finished it entirely.
There's so much to do.
But there was so much to do, and there wasn't a good mission loop in there. I will say that. I got distracted so easily. Here, you can stay a little more mission driven. Did the bounty boards last night. I took out some bounty boards. Just went out taking out ships. That was so much fun, dude.
You've been lost for hours in that, huh?
And if you get the rock companions with your ship, you get the extra bonuses on like your shields and lasers and maneuverability. It made ship killing so much better.
Dude, if you want some freaking awesome combat in the ship, go and join the Rangers, do the storyline, because that you will get something at the end that is phenomenal. Like our friend Sploom was in our live stream the other day and was like, no, finish it. I'm telling you, finish it. And I did. And I was like, wowzer, this is the best thing in the game. Like it was so good. But yeah, I think there, I mean, if I had to rate it, like for me, and you guys know me, I'm a Mulehorn Jenkins. I want explosions, fast action. I do really enjoy a lot of the dialogue. The dialogue is good. Sometimes it's a little drawn out. But I would have to say it's a very solid like 7.75 for me out of 10. Like it's a good game. Now, is it doing something that's like groundbreaking for me? Not really, but it includes like a lot of really, really cool things that I enjoy, like No Man's Sky flying, space battles like Star Wars, the Skyrim effect of like open world, just go and blow crap up and have fun. The stuff that you can do to some of the people in the dialogue when you start unlocking it, like that's the fun part, right? You know, but like, I don't think I can agree with some people that says like it's a 10-10. Like for me, it's like, like it's a good game, but it's not a 10-10 for me. It's like if I was pressed, maybe when I finish the game, it'll be closer to an 8. But you know,
yeah, and I've heard a lot of that too. To focus on that, it does have one of the slowest beginnings I've had in a game in a while.
Yeah.
But once you get a couple missions in and start messing with the factions, you're like, oh wow, this has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
It doesn't like throw you into it like most games do, especially most story games.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that. And that's where some people get confused, or maybe even try to quit on it within a few hours. My suggestion is just give it a chance, work through a few hours of it, play how you want to play, and if it's not for you, then I totally get it. It makes sense. But for me, how I would rate it, I'm thinking probably like 8.5 to 9 because I have very few complaints on it, and it gives me multiple areas that I just love doing. And so it's one of those, it's endless fun, and I like that about it.
It is, man. It really is some like the thing that I love about it is I can just do mindless fun. Like you guys saw me last night. You're like, no, do this, do this. And I was like, man, I just want to go do this. So I go to some random factory in my mission log and like have to fight all these guys. And, like it was just really fun. So,
yeah.
But
for sure,
I am really curious. Do you think the reason why like it's getting such high rated is because it's an Xbox exclusive? It's like one of the first Xbox exclusives that I guess Halo you could say is one, but
yeah. I could have some factor in it, but if a lot of these ratings are based upon actual experience and they're 10 of 10, they're 9 of 10 as explained in words, then I don't think it's so much the fact that it is Xbox is good for Xbox.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that though, if it was on PlayStation, some of those reviews that are low would be a little bit higher, but this is my opinion. I think it's because it's a lot of Bethesda fans got a hold of it, and a lot of Bethesda fans have reviewed it, and that's who they made it for, and hoping other players would jump on too. So that's kind of how it worked out.
Yeah. That's kind of what Nate's saying. He said, I don't think that's why it's rated good. I think there's just a ton of Bethesda game fans out there, which is true.
And if they can make new fans along the way, that's great for Bethesda.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore fan just because I've never really enjoyed the Fallout series, or basically Skyrim and Morrowind and things like that's what I've really enjoyed. The more medieval type games and mystical medieval type game, but for me, it still hits. It's still, I'm still playing it. I'm still really enjoying it. And before I started stream last night, I only had about 17 hours in, but still it was like really enjoyable. Like there are going to be times where I'm definitely going to get my itch to go back to a shooter, but when I need to just numb out and have fun and not like have to be like super like high stress, I'm going to just go blow some crap up in Starfield and have fun,
Right.
Yeah.
I would say try to go through a few missions and a few more faction missions and see where it takes you. And there's a few of those. There's activities, there's missions, activities, the miscellaneous. Some of the craziest stories built into it, I will say.
There is some really cool storylines I've been hearing about that are in this game. So it's going to be interesting. It's crazy how many freaking players they have playing this game too. What was it like? Xbox was tweeting out. What was it? I'm going to have to find it real quick to show
1
you
million
guys.
consecutive.
Yeah, it was ridiculous how many people. I mean, for Xbox, that's
awesome. I will say something else about
really
this too.
awesome.
I've been hearing this on multiple fronts. People saying that they've played both Baldur's Gate 3 and this game. And Baldur's Gate 3 got rated as high as it was for a reason, because it is that good of an RPG, like super in depth. And they know that it's most likely to be a Game of the Year contender. They don't think Starfield will be Game of the Year for everyone, but for, say, Bethesda fans and some people that I was listening to, is like, it's my personal Game of the Year, but I know what it's up against. And Baldur's Gate's probably going to take it more than Starfield will.
I mean, Baldur's Gate, you still have Spider-Man 2. So,
yeah.
I mean, you even have Jedi Survivor in the mix. I mean, it's not as groundbreaking as some of these other games, but it was a really good Star Wars game. So, I mean, probably the best Star Wars game I've played. So, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, 6 million. As of, what was that, this morning? The 7th. Yeah, this morning, they had over 6 million players, making it the biggest Bethesda game launch of all time.
Yep.
Like that's literally insane, dude.
That's a huge win that Xbox needed. Not so much a win over anyone else, but it's like a huge win for Xbox.
Yeah.
Because their first party games have been lacking since what? Halo 4?
Yeah.
That's like the last big banger we've had.
I mean, Infinite was good for its campaign, but it's died off after that because the multiplayer is kind of eh.
Yeah.
But
I will say, though,
issues.
kind of based on our chat too, is Bethesda's caused a lot of console warring. Oh my god, I've had to literally unfollow some people out there because, man, they're just bringing up every little nitpick thing that some of these other super fanboys are saying. I'm like, oh my god, dude, give it a freaking rest. I get that person might not be legit and have an agenda, but do you have to bring up every single post? It's just crazy.
I know one of those people.
I'm not going to drop any names, but the person we talked about that we were sad to see that didn't make their redemption recently.
Oh yes,
he has come back full around and is totally like, okay, I admit it. I'm a fan. I love this. I can't stop playing it. I'm like,
just
what?
for the clicks, bro. It was just for the clicks.
It's just for the clicks because
that's
loves them.
Okay. Can soapbox for just 1 sec here at the end of the podcast. I hate that about the content creation game, that people have to make stuff for clickbait and things like that, or do stupid stuff on streams to get an audience. It makes me want to shake fans and say, go support someone that's a really good content creator that's not doing this stupid stuff that a 15-year-old would do. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I told someone, I was interacting with Ginger Prime out there, one of my other new favorite creators, not because his last name is Prime, but I told him there's a whole new level of farmers out there, and there's nothing to do with agriculture. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Thanks, Fake. Yeah, support the Mulehorn Gaming crew.
Right, seriously. Keep it real and based.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts? What would you tell anybody that's thinking of maybe they're on the fence, they're thinking maybe they're going to play the game, Prime, maybe not? What would you tell them?
Give it more than a few hours and really start doing some of the faction quest and try to get hooked into the mission loop. And if you want to get distracted by all the fun things you find along the way, that's great, but make sure you're getting some story in first before you get too crazy, because you will be surprised. It could easily hook you in if you're down for games that aren't just straight shooters or linear. If you're looking for just a great shooter and linear, it's not your game.
Yeah, I would concur with that, Prime. Like, I think the only thing I would say is if this guy who's a Mulehorn Jenkins and just wants to fly through stuff can find a lot of fun in Starfield, I think most gamers will find Starfield really fun. Yep. You got to get past the prologue or a little start, but once you get past it, things start opening up. You start getting some of your skills. You start finding some good weapons. It gets really fun.
One more thing too. Go ahead. Utilize quick save so that you can save your game, do the crazy shenanigan you shouldn't do, but you're going to do anyway because it'll mess up your mission. But you want to see what happens and then go back to carrying on the mission. Because, dude, so much insanity can happen just by one single bullet.
Yeah. I actually did that once where I was in the city and I just started randomly shooting people. like you can do in Skyrim where you like get the whole village to chase you, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's actually one point where you want to get arrested because something pretty cool happens if you get arrested.
Oh, really?
Just make sure you don't have any stolen goods on you.
Well, I am an official ranger, so can I get arrested?
Yep.
Interesting.
It opens up a whole new level. But
my gosh, Fake said he has a buddy that has a $430,000 bounty on his head.
I saw a picture of a bounty board, and there's like 6 figures in all 3 factions on them. I'm like,
wow.
What? What?
He's definitely playing the pirate life, man.
Yes, I wanted to do that, but I couldn't do it. I'm too Paragon, man.
Yeah, I just don't want to ruin my gameplay experience.
Right.
You know, like war crimes, right? Like, geez. Yeah,
it's funny, dude.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Prime Time, before we wrap this up? We try to keep it around an hour, so.
Enjoy the star stuff.
Yes. Enjoy the exploring. Yeah.
Whether it's wars or fields, enjoy it all.
Whether Star Wars or Starfield, just have fun, man.
Have fun.
Well, guys, thanks for listening. And if you're watching us live, we appreciate it. We do stream these live on Kick and on YouTube. So if you ever want to join us live, join the Discord. That's the easiest way you can find out when we're going to go live for this stuff. But Prime, it was real, bro. It was fun.
For sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah. As we always say, guys, when in doubt, blow it up, baby! Yeah! Servant hates good.